How fast is climate change happening? Well, there's no exact answer to this question, but the overall consensus is it's happening too fast. A new report has only reinforced this belief. It focuses on the Arctic region. Let's begin with some basic facts. The Arctic is located around the northern pole of the Earth. Total area almost 14.5 million square kilometers. It is covered with glaciers and ice sheets. During winter, temperatures can drop to minus 50 degrees Celsius. But a new study has found that the Arctic is heating up, and that too pretty fast, almost 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. Why is this happening? Similar reports in the past have hinted at a special phenomenon. It's called Arctic amplification. And here's how it works. Normally, the polar ice reflects the sun's heat. It bounces off the Arctic region. But now that the ice is melting into the sea, there is no surface to reflect the sun's heat. All that warmth is being absorbed by the water. And the result is this: faster Arctic warming. A United Nations report in 2019 has drawn similar conclusions. It found that the Arctic was warming 2 times faster. And this new study says it is 4 times faster. Either way, it's not good news. On an average, Arctic temperatures rose 0.75 degrees Celsius per decade, in some places by 1.25 degrees. That's almost 7 times faster than the rest of the world. How does this impact our planet? The immediate effect will be felt by the local communities and wildlife. The Arctic was first settled around 3000 BC. And even today, around 4 million people live in this region. They will be the first to feel the impact. Also the wildlife. Over 5,500 species of animals live in the Arctic region. Most of them thrive on ice. But as temperatures rise, these animals are losing their habitat. Polar bears, for example. At this rate, we could lose them by 2100, the end of the century. And imagine that, a world without polar bears. I'm sure you remember this picture from 2015. It shows an alarmingly skinny polar bear. The picture took the internet by storm. Politicians were tweeting about it. Activists were talking about it. But 7 years later, nothing has changed. Global warming continues to melt the Arctic. And one reason for that is the distance. We think of the Arctic as some distant fairyland, as if what happens there does not affect our lives. But that is simply not the case, and I'll give you one reason why. Have you heard about the Greenland ice sheet? It covers around 80% of Greenland's surface. Its total size is almost 1.7 million square kilometers. That ice sheet is close to its melting point. And if it starts melting, it could unload enough water to raise our sea levels by 6 meters. 6 meters. That's Hong Kong submerged, Mumbai underwater, Jakarta gone, Ho Chi Minh, Osaka, Chittagong, Tokyo, Hanoi, Kolkata, all of them gone. And these are some of the cities we stand to lose. They would be below the sea level. Put together, the world would lose almost 444,000 square kilometers of land. Today, 375 million people live there. So Arctic warming is not some far-off phenomenon. It will directly impact your life as well. And the extreme heat is not just melting the ice, it is also drying up our rivers, like the Thames in Britain. At 356 kilometers, it is the second longest river in Britain. Every summer, the source of the River Thames dries up. But this year, it is worse. The dry patches are extending further downstream. Locals say they can't remember anything like this.
It does seem very different, yeah. It's drier, a lot drier than it's been before, and it's moved, the source has obviously moved a few miles further than it normally would. It's always dry in the summer here, but we do worry about what that's going to look like in the winter now, because if it's that dry up in the summer, it might not even come back this way in the winter.
The reason is the unprecedented heat. Britain had its driest July in almost 20 years. Rainfall was just 35% of the monthly average, so put together, it was the perfect climate shock. No rain and a lot of heat. In fact, things could be getting a lot worse in Britain. The country has declared an amber heat alert. Temperatures are expected to top 37 degrees Celsius. All of this points to a climate emergency. Unlike wars and pandemics, there is no recovering from that. You can't rebuild the lost ice caps or drain the rising oceans. There is no replay or redo when it comes to climate change. The only time to act is now. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.